Now we come to a fantastic part of the evening where we are going to hear from our 2024 Aware Award winners.
12 years ago, I walked into my very first kindergarten classroom in the middle of the year full of excitement, energy, and what I thought was the perfect lesson plan. But within the first 10 minutes, that plan was eaten, colored on, and someone was crying in the corner, possibly me. But in all honesty, I do remember my first day being nothing like I had imagined. But by the end of the day, no one was hurt, nothing was broken, all the kids were accounted for, and I was not crying in the corner, and I knew that this is where I was meant to be. And that's the beauty of teaching, that every day is unpredictable, every moment is a chance to learn, and every child we teach has the potential to change the world. My passion has always been for the children, the ones who come in eager to learn, the ones who need a little extra push, and even the ones that test my patience, which has been quite a bit this year. People often ask me, how do you do it? And I tell them coffee, caffeine, all day, and lots of it. But honestly, it is the kids. It's the joy in their eyes when they write their first sentence, the pride when they finally zip up their own coat, or the way they shout your name like you're Taylor Swift when they see you in Target. And it's the reason I do what I do. When I first began teaching, I didn't anticipate that I would take on roles far beyond the classroom. Over time, I realized I was also a counselor, a nurse, a mom figure to some, and even the go-to person to just fix the toys. Because sometimes being there for a child means taking on many different hats all at once. And to my colleagues, it's not often that we stop to reflect on how much support we truly have in this profession, but today I just want to take a second to acknowledge how incredibly fortunate I am to work alongside each and every one of you. As teachers, we give so much of ourselves to our students, but the truth is, we also rely on each other more than we often realize. Whether I've needed advice on how to help a student succeed, or I have been overwhelmed by some of the wild, unexpected moments that can happen in my kindergarten classroom, I know that I can always count on each of y'all to be there for me. You've been the ones I've leaned on, not just for professional support, but for emotional support as well, and especially this past year, with the emotional ups and downs that myself and my husband have encountered with our adoption process. Whether I needed a shoulder to cry on, a space to vent, or simply a kind word to remind me that I'm not alone, you've all shown up for me in ways that I will never take for granted. So thank you. Thank you for being the incredible, compassionate, dependable colleagues and friends that you are. I'm truly grateful to be part of such an amazing school like Hill. We are truly a family, and I'm blessed that I continue my journey alongside each and every one of you. To my principal, literally one of the best in Arlington, Casey Longoria, and our leadership team members, Aaron Williams and Kelly Prowlis, and several others, but thank you for seeing something in me special to nominate me for this honor. I am deeply thankful for your belief in me and my teaching abilities. It's not just the award that matters, but the fact that you see and appreciate the work I do every day. Your support and recognitions gives me the encouragement and motivation to keep striving to be the best educator I can be. What I value most about working with you all is how easy y'all make it to be open and vulnerable. In a profession where we carry a lot of responsibility, it's so refreshing to know that we can be our true, authentic self and approach you with challenges, ideas, and even doubts without fear of judgment. You create an environment where we feel safe to grow, take risks, and lean on each other when we need to. And for those little notes of affirmation that y'all leave when you pop into my classroom, they mean the world to me. It's those small moments of recognition that I feel seen and appreciated, not just for the work I do, but for who I am as an educator. It reminds me that I'm not alone in this, and that the efforts I put into my classroom are truly valued. I love you all, and again, am so blessed to be part of the Hill family. And just looking around and seeing how many of us there are here tonight, it's a true testament of the greatness of our campus, and it starts at the top with the leadership team. To the Aware Committee and the ones that observe me, Patty Belknap, Cynthia Waller, Judy Jones, and Judy Linderman, thank you for your continued support and education, and for celebrating the hard work and dedication that all of the Arlington ISD teachers put in on a daily basis. It was a pleasure having each of you come to my classroom and to see why I love what I do. Thank you for your feedback and understanding that while a kindergarten classroom can have its challenges, the most important thing is just to create an environment where the children feel safe, at home, and comfortable, especially since we are who they spend most of their day with. To Arlington ISD, this district is home to me. I grew up here, being the first class to attend Mary Moore, continuing to Bowles, and graduating from Martin. I love the community, the school, family, and the mission we share. It is an absolute privilege to be a part of shaping young minds and futures here. Now to the hard part, to thanking my amazing family, my mom Mary, and my stepdad Jim, and my handsome husband Justin, who are all here tonight. None of this part of my life would be possible without your love and support. Jim, thank you for always believing me and encouraging me to step outside of my comfort zone, even when I was hesitant or afraid. You've always seen potential in me that I didn't recognize in myself, and for that, I will always be deeply grateful for you. Mom, thank you for always being there for me during the times when I felt overwhelmed, anxious, or just needed a hug and a shoulder to cry on. Your unconditional love and support have helped me get through some of the darkest moments of my life, and have also helped me become the daughter, friend, wife, and teacher that I am today. And I cannot wait to become a mother soon, so I can pass down all that I've learned from you to my daughter. And to Justin, my husband and my best friend for over 24 years. Thank you for being my rock. No matter what kind of help I needed in my classroom along the way, you have always been there to get the job done. Whether it's hanging all the high things that I can't reach, moving heavy furniture, or cutting and laminating papers while we watch TV together, you have always done so much to help without any hesitation. I know this past year has had its challenges for both of us while navigating through the adoption process, but the one constant that gets me through each day is having you by my side and knowing that we will get our baby girl soon and she will be loved by the best dad in the world. I am so blessed to have such a wonderful family, and I love you all so much. And if you're wondering how I spent the generous winnings, well, it's safely put into a savings account to help when we do, or during my maternity leave, when we do finally get to bring home our sweet Olive Elaine Weidhaas home with us. So thank you all, my students, my colleagues, my mentors, my family. This award is not just mine, it belongs to everyone who has been a part of my journey. Thank you.
Good evening. I don't teach kindergarten, I teach 4th grade. So while I'm up here, if you want to yell out bruh or that I'm low-key Sigma, go for it. I'll feel very comfortable. It's so nice to be here tonight with our district leaders, members of the school board, campus administration, fellow teachers. We get more than 30 minutes to eat food, family, friends, and thank you so much to the Aware Foundation for making all this possible. I really want to go back a little bit and thank the person probably most responsible for me being up here today. That person is Santa Claus. It's not who you're expecting. It was 1990, maybe 91, and I woke up and he had delivered a chalkboard/whiteboard, chalk, erasers, dry erase markers. And even though most of my aunts and my mom all taught elementary school, so I already had an idea of where I was headed, that Santa Claus gift pushed me over the edge. There was no going back. My poor younger sister was forced to be my first student and sit through lesson after lesson. I should probably apologize to her, but let's be honest, I was probably engaging even then, and she probably walked away with some really good learning. But in all seriousness, when college arrived, I didn't mull over my choice of major. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to teach elementary school. Hats off to those of you who do junior high and high school. I do not have that kind of courage. My husband and I currently have 2 junior high kids at home. That's plenty. When I graduated, I felt so prepared. I had everything I needed. I was ready. I knew it all. I had a list of awesome children's lit. I had a book that had great suggestions on how to teach math. I was so prepared. So not true. I quickly learned that teaching is not day by day, but rather minute by minute learning experience. Things are happening in and around the classroom that were not covered in any college textbook, and at times some very strange things. Why are you under that table again? Why do you keep making that strange sound? Let's talk about it. You're having to make decisions every second. You try to be proactive instead of reactive, but there's things you just can't plan for. There's a lot of deer in the headlight moments. If emojis had existed when I started teaching at Rankin in 2003, I would have overused the I don't know emoji and the facepalm emoji to explain a lot of my day-to-day, but also the laughing emoji and the heart emoji. Fast forward 22 years, I'm still at Rankin, and I still feel like I haven't truly figured it out, but do we ever in this profession? Every year is new, curveballs constantly being thrown at you, goalposts getting moved, students change, and so complacency and putting it on cruise control are never an option. What am I doing? What's going on? Run through my head a lot. I'm not doing this right. Even with all that said, the work is worth it. I've had students come back year after year to visit, to check in, to let me know how they're doing. One specifically, when the Rangers won the World Series, I got a message not long after that last pitch, thanking me for teaching him about baseball. No, it's not in the curriculum. I've checked, but we had a lot of side conversations, and he still has the jersey I gave him for his 6th grade graduation. That's what makes it worth it. This is why I'm so grateful to the Aware Foundation and the individuals who nominated us. They saw us, they recognized us, they saw the work we were doing. The Aware Foundation actively looks for teachers who are doing it right, whatever that might mean. If you listen to social media or watch the news, it's not always great stories coming out about the teaching profession. But the people with the Aware Foundation do the exact opposite. Their mission is to find, recognize, and reward teachers who show up every day, navigate obstacles, bend with extenuating circumstances, and create engaging lessons. They applaud the teachers who create lessons on mundane topics. Let's be honest, plot maps can in no way rival the video games the kids are used to. So without some theatrics, it's most likely a lost cause. I applaud and thank those individuals who received the nominations, had the difficult task of selecting the teachers for the observation round, who bravely came into the classroom. A couple of them, my students walked up to them, handed them their writing journal, and asked them to help them edit their writing that day. Thank you for doing that. Thank you also for interviewing us to get to know us just a little bit better. And then finally, for bringing us all together to recognize teachers who are, despite what we may think to ourselves daily, doing it right. It's so worth it. My award from last year sits on my desk where I can see it. And over this last year, which has been probably one of the top 3 most challenging for a variety of reasons, I would start to question myself that what am I doing? I have no idea what to do right now. But I'd glance at it and remember that at least at some point, someone felt I was doing it right. And then I move on, take a deep breath, lower that child out from under the chair again, check the computer screens of those kids over there, and call my first group back to the table for some extra help to put my all into another day. I want to thank everyone, the administrators that I've worked with at Rankin over the last 22 years, my current principal, Mrs. Weidhaas, my assistant principal, Ms. Ledesma, for gently pushing me. Thank you to my family who's been with me every step of this 22-year journey. Thank you, Santa Claus. Thank you to my husband who's been with me throughout, not just through my professional journey, but we met in kindergarten, so he's literally been with me every step of the way. And he has cut out lamination while watching TV, even though after 22 years that's kind of died off. He's listened to a lot of stories. We still talk about students from years ago that we both remember. And I also appreciate him ignoring those Amazon orders that pop up often for last-minute supplies that we need at school. Thank you so much again to the Aware Foundation for all that you do to recognize and applaud the teachers in Arlington. Congratulations to all the finalists that are here tonight. And even on rough days, remember you're here for a reason. You are doing it right, and it is very worth it. Thank you.
Like so many others, I did not begin my professional life in a classroom. I didn't major in education or envision myself becoming a teacher during college. After graduation, I entered the workforce and found myself in a cubicle, doing what I thought I was supposed to do. But it didn't take long to realize something was missing. I was comfortable but unfulfilled, and the thought of spending the next 30 years like that, stagnant, was something I knew I could not ignore. When I searched for direction, my mind kept returning to a memory from high school. I've been part of the PALS program at Arlington High, led by the amazing Jennifer Wynn. During my senior year, she asked if I'd be willing to mentor 2 6th grade boys. She believed I was a good fit and could offer something that they were needing at that moment in time, empathy. I agreed, though I had serious doubts. I worried that they would not be able to connect or relate to me. The first meeting was awkward. I could tell they were unsure, probably disappointed that I was a girl, but over time something shifted. Trust was built, walls came down, and a real connection was formed. Through our time spent together, I learned lessons in patience and grace, lessons that have continued to guide me still today as a teacher. At the time, I didn't know I was planting seeds for the future. For when I finally decided to leave my office job and pursue education, it was my time spent as a PAL that convinced me to do so. Here I am, a 6th grade teacher, a career I never planned, but one that feels like home. I am the proud product of public school, and more specifically, a proud product of Arlington ISD. It feels incredibly meaningful to now serve the very community that helped raise me. The classroom I teach in today is the very same classroom I once sat as a 6th grade student at Duff Elementary. I'll never forget my first group of 6th graders. At this time, I was actually at Hill, but they were wide-eyed, eager to test the boundaries of what they thought they knew. We tackled everything from novel studies to figuring out how to work as a team and in between. We shared stories, laughter, frustration, and those light bulb moments when something finally clicked. At the time, I was just trying to help them get through their last year of elementary school, but what I didn't realize was how deeply those small, daily connections would root themselves in both of our lives. Now, years later, I've had the incredible privilege of watching many of those same students walk the halls of high school, pursue their dreams, or come back and visit just for a happy hello. Seeing them continue to grow, not just academically, but as thoughtful and kind people, has been one of the greatest gifts of my career. It's a reminder that what we do in the classroom doesn't end with a final grade. It ripples forward, shaping lifelong learners. I would like to round out my time tonight by making sure I take the opportunity to acknowledge the amazing educators and people who have shaped my education, my career, and my life. My 6th grade reading teacher, Mrs. Lemons, fostered a lifelong love of reading, a passion I hope to continue through the students that sit in my own classroom. My high school German teacher, Frau West, showed me just how powerful the connection between a teacher and her students can be. I can only hope that all of my students can feel even an ounce of what she made us feel every day. To my high school PALS teacher, Jennifer Wynn, I truly do not think I would be a 6th grade teacher today without her encouragement, all the way back in 2009 in high school. My colleagues, who have become more like a family, are the support, the collaboration, and laughter I need to get through the days. I'm grateful every day to walk alongside them in this work. My principal, Cindy Harbison, who leads with purpose and love, like she always says, we are in the business of kids, and that belief is evident in everything she does. My sister, Tori Laughlin, who is also a teacher in AISD. She is my biggest cheerleader, my sounding board, and a constant source of guidance and wisdom. My husband, who is my steady shoulder to lean on when the days are long and challenging, his support and love have meant the world to me. All of these people have helped me along in my journey through this profession. I would not be the teacher I am today if it were not for the village that helped raise me. I would like to thank my aware observers who created such a fun, supportive, and warm experience. I'll admit I was quite intimidated by the process at first, but they quickly helped me feel seen and valued in a career that is so often overlooked and underappreciated. And I am incredibly grateful for the light the Aware organization shines on the work we do as educators. A lesson my dad instilled in me as a child was to work for a cause, not applause. I believe it epitomizes what it means to be a teacher. We don't enter this profession for the money or recognition. We do it because we believe in the cause. But in those rare and humbling moments when we are acknowledged like tonight, it reminds us that our efforts matter, that someone noticed, and that the quiet daily work we pour our hearts into can make a lasting impact. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Deana Nazworth, and I am proud to be an AWARE finalist and winner representing Nichols Junior High. I'm supposed to tell you about my year, but as any junior high teacher knows, there's absolutely no award or trophy big enough to make you any cooler in a 13-year-old's eyes. However, this award did keep the snack closet and care cubby supplied all year long. In room 114, you know, in room 114 we were absolutely rich with honey buns and pimple patches and emergency deodorant sticks. And for that, I promise you, we were all very, very grateful. Teaching can be an isolating experience. You are day in and day out faced with hundreds, if not thousands, of decisions. You stare out into the faces of children who may or may not be providing any sign of life back at you. It may be hours until you have a conversation with another adult. And your major sources of feedback are periodic t-test observations and walkthroughs and testing data. It is overwhelming to say the least, even for the most seasoned of teachers. Believe me, I should know, as I am now finishing my 25th year in education, all as a proud Nichols Mustang teacher. Thank you. And we have had our share of tests over the years. I was first nominated for this award in 2005, my 5th year as a teacher, and I had thought I finally had some things figured out, but I was still so nervous for anyone to come into my classroom, especially 6 AWARE observers that year. And in that year, 2 of my fellow Nichols teachers, Lee Joffrey and David Mabry, won the top 2 prizes. And while I was so proud of them as the youngest child of a highly competitive family, an overly competitive family probably, I took it as a failure, that I had done what I had always secretly worried about, that I wasn't good enough for my students, that this was somehow true. Luckily, I've always surrounded myself with friends and colleagues who, A, believe in me more than I believe in myself, and 2, have no stamina or wallowing or self-pity. They reminded me that within that year at age 29, I had become the school mom to more than 50 families displaced by Hurricane Katrina. I had forsaken comma rules and prepositional phrases to work with our parents and faculty gathering uniform donations, organizing open houses, and providing a school home to kids whose only wish was to return to homes that no longer stood. It's not really something you can put in a lesson plan, and it will never, ever show up on a spreadsheet. When I speak to new teachers, one of the first things I tell them is that sometimes we have to adjust our vision of what success looks like, because it doesn't always look like the way the world thinks it should. We are at a tense and difficult time to be an educator anywhere, especially here in Texas. We have to remind ourselves that when we talk about equity over equality for the needs of our students, we have to maintain that same equity when it comes to our standards of success for both students and teachers alike. An A rating is a success. It is. A mastery level score on a standardized test is a success. Winning that city championship, of which Nichols has won 2 this year, it is a success to be proud of. But they're not the only form, not by a long shot. So let me tell you about my year. Success is a room full of teenage boys who love one another so much that they are in bold and unashamed tears when one suddenly moves away. Success is another classroom of kids who wait patiently for Google to translate their long-winded teacher's lesson so that all students have an opportunity to learn, no matter the obstacle. Success is a robotics team that codes and collaborates through learning disabilities and language barriers and teenage boyhood bickering to celebrate a 10-point score bump with the same fervor as a Super Bowl victory. Success is the sound of 22 kids all turning the page of a book at the exact same time because they're so engrossed in the story. Success is when one of those kids admits that he has never read an entire book and then asks you, do you have more like that one? That's my librarians over there. Success is that kid, and you know the one I'm talking about because we all have them, who grew up over the summer and admitted, maybe you weren't that mean of a teacher last year, and then not only greets you each morning, but sometimes even asks, how are you today, Miss Naz? You okay? In my class, we abide by two philosophies: better today than yesterday, better tomorrow still, and progress over perfection. Friends, let me tell you that growth is success. Empathy is success. Grit is success. Sometimes just showing up is success. And I have been privileged to witness every single moment, good, bad, and ugly, at my campus because I've also seen what can happen when you teach a child that they are more than a number, that they are more than where they come from or what people mistakenly assume of them, that it is not the falling down that defines us, but the getting up that really counts, that from ashes rise phoenixes. To be back here tonight, 19 years later, is especially meaningful to me because I am not the same teacher that I was 25 years ago when I arrived at Nichols. But I'm not the same human either. And for me, that's 1,000 times better than any trophy. And that's saying a lot because anyone who really knows me understands just how much I love a good trophy. Teachers, please don't forget to celebrate those wins, both big and small, for your kids and for yourself. And administrators, don't allow your teachers to overlook them for themselves either. What you celebrate demonstrates what you value. Let me say that again. What you celebrate demonstrates what you value. I want to close by saying thank you to the Aware Foundation and my wonderful 4 observers for continuing to recognize some of the hardest working teachers in any district, but we have them right here in Arlington. It is a labor of love what you do. And today, on the first day of Teacher Appreciation Week, it is not lost on any of us. To Dr. Smith, our school board, and everyone associated with AISD, I am proud to be a teacher for you. I am proud to serve our students. To 2 departments who are especially near and dear to my heart, the Curriculum and Instruction Department and the TI Squared Department, who never let me rest on my laurels, who always push me to grow, I am especially thankful for you. Thank you to my principal, Mrs. Claiborne, for not only my nomination of me, but of many, many others. And if you've ever filled out the paperwork, it's no easy task. I want you to keep shining the light on each of our wins because we are worth the sunshine. Thank you to the entire Mustang family, many of which are out here in the audience. I have been so glad to see you tonight. Those past and present students, parents, and teachers, for continuing to celebrate who we are now and who we will continue to become. There are too many of you to name, but you crowd my heart and thoughts every single day as I walk our hallways, and they are still our hallways. To my own teachers, my own beautiful and gifted teachers in the small town of Clarendon, Texas, you shaped in my mind what it is to be an involved educator, to be both the senior English teacher and the junior Spanish teacher and the journalism teacher and the senior class sponsor, who then came and kept my stats and coached me on my free throw percentages. Mrs. Hayes, Mrs. Stavenhagen, you are my idols. Every class I teach is in honor of you. Thank you to my very dearest friends, Laurie, Courtney, Heather, who taught me how to work with children, not students, children. Listen first, give second chances, make it right when you are wrong, and you will be wrong many times. And to lead with grace, honesty, and passion. Because you believed in me, I believe in myself. Thank you to my family, my 2 older brothers, my mother, my father, who instilled within me a devout work ethic, a deep sense of loyalty, and a mostly healthy sense of competition. Because you made me earn every single win, I hold a great appreciation for and fascination with the journey to become better each day. I love you, I love you, I love you. And to tonight's nominees and finalists, you are here because someone saw your light shining. They saw your light leading the way. Keep doing it. Good luck. We are so very grateful for each of you. Thank you. Good night.
Hello, everybody. My name is Melanie Drake, and I'm representing Lamar High School as our High School Aware winner tonight. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Matt Smith, Board of Trustees. I'm so excited to share my story with you this evening and express my gratitude for the City of Arlington awarding me this great opportunity. Standing here today is both humbling and surreal. I'm deeply honored and incredibly proud to represent public education, AVID, and Lamar High School. I want to share my experience in public education and what it can do for all students. Every day in classrooms across this country, teachers are doing the work behind the scenes, serving as mentors, parents, therapists, all while managing their classes, meeting deadlines, and spending lots of money of their own to provide rigorous learning experiences for their classrooms. We are in a time when there are many concerns about what could happen to our schools and in our schools. Tonight, I want to focus on all of the benefits of public schools and my experience as a public high school teacher. I'm a country girl born and raised in Haskell, Texas, a small town with a population of 3,300, as big as Lamar High School almost, 1 stoplight and a Dairy Queen. Sadly, no Target. A place where the town shuts down on Friday nights for the football games, where your elementary teachers all call you by your older siblings' names because we had all the same teachers, and a place where everyone shows up with food at your door when any tragedy happens in your family. I was the first to attend college out of my family, and I am the baby. I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I knew I wanted to be a teacher when I was in first grade, all the way back then. I just knew it. I would come home from school, and I would line up my Rainbow Bright, giving my age here, Barbies, and my Cabbage Patch Kids, and I would teach them everything that I learned in school that day. Fast forward just a little. I'm finishing my 22nd year of public school teaching, and I've only ever taught at the high school level. In my 22 years, I've coached basketball, track, cross country, softball, cheer, and I've taught Spanish and AVID, and I've also been an ESL coordinator and an AVID coordinator. My truest passion for all I do is AVID. AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. It's an elective course offered at elementary through high schools that teaches time management, organization, leadership, and focuses on college and career readiness. Most AVID students are first-generation college students. We're very fortunate to have a district such as AISD to support AVID. Our AVID program at Lamar High School has close to 600 students, grades 9th through 12th, 10 teachers, and our AVID seniors in the last 5 years have received over $43 million in academic scholarships. Thank you. This year's seniors are currently at $11.5 million and counting in scholarships. We are also a proud AVID national demonstration site, and we represent less than 3% of AVID schools in the nation. Being an AVID teacher is an honor, it's a privilege, and I'm so thankful that I get to do this every day. As a public school educator in a 6A high school, I've seen a lot. This small town girl has learned the value of diversity and inclusion and equal opportunity. I've seen the investment of special programs for students to be involved and feel included. I've seen the faces light up when kids have the opportunities to express their passion in fine arts academics, and/or athletics. I've seen proud parents in the community cheering on their kids right beside us teachers. I've watched students who struggled to find their voice become confident leaders. I've held students during panic attacks, wiped away countless tears, and written so many notes of affirmation to my kids to make sure they know they're loved, they have a support system, and they have a home in my classroom. I've attended funerals of my students' loved ones, I've attended quinceañeras, and I've also attended church when they invite me. Been to several churches in Arlington, by the way. I've practiced soft skills with my kids and reminded them how to check in with self-care and ask for help when needed. I've created a safe space that allows my students to take risks, build confidence, fall down, and get up stronger than before. These moments matter. These moments keep students coming to public schools. These moments add up, and they change lives. These moments transform families and communities. These moments produce proud citizens of the Arlington community. None of this would be possible for me if it had not been for a public educator who invested in me and changed the trajectory of my life through 4 simple words. What are you doing? He usually said this to me when I was making bad decisions academically and personally. You see, I wasn't exactly the best student, and I had a terrible attitude on the court at times. I know I was a pain, and he had every opportunity to give up on me, but he didn't. I never thought college was an opportunity for me, being the youngest and no one else had gone. So passing grades only mattered to me so I could play ball. This teacher saw something in me that I never saw or thought I was worthy of. He saw my potential. His tough love and accountability made me want to do good not only for him, but for myself. I believe that none of my teachers cared about me until I met him. He is here today, and he is my absolute favorite teacher and coach. Coach, I would like for you to stand, please. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Coach Richard Holloway. He was my high school basketball coach and teacher. Coach Holloway, thank you for believing in me. My whole life would be different had you not invested your time in me. I would not be standing here for sure, and I have no clue what my life would have looked like, and I definitely wouldn't have what I have now. You have shown me the true meaning of impact, and I can only hope that I impact my students the way you did me. Thank you so much for being here and still supporting me after all these years. Fun fact, his daughter lives in Arlington. She has a son that goes to Lamar, and he's in our AVID program. Full circle. As I close, I want to remind you to not forget that public education is the cornerstone of our democracy. It is where students of every background, every zip code, and every dream come together, not just to learn, but to become thoughtful citizens, problem solvers, and compassionate human beings. We cannot take public education for granted. It needs investment, it needs advocacy, and above all, it needs respect. So I ask you to never stop advocating for public schools and to never stop believing in the power of education to change the world. It changed mine. Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie. These speeches highlight what AWARE has been focused on celebrating for so many years. Let's give one more round of applause for all these amazing speakers tonight.